Number one, use proxies. They're so simple, they will save you so much time and they make your editing workflow so much simpler. Proxies basically create a lower res version of the footage that you have. So if you have 4K footage, it will convert it into 720 or 480p footage, and most computers can edit that. Instead of the big chunky 4K footage that all computers hate. Then when you export, you can swap the low res footage for the 4K footage and you get a lovely 4K video at the end. It's really simple, really easy to do. I used to think it was a really tricky thing to do, so I never did it for so long, but it's so easy to do and saves you so much time with all the playback lagging. There's nothing worse than trying to add an effect and it keeps on jumping and you can't watch it properly because the playback's skipping frames. With proxies, there's none of that. You can create proxies in 3 quick, easy steps. Create your proxies like this, and then leave all this as it is, click OK, and they will export in media encoder. Then toggle that little button and that will turn proxies on. Once you've tried proxies, you'll never go back. Export videos as you edit. Normally you edit a video, then you export a video for 30 minutes, and that 30 minutes is gone to waste. But if you queue your exports in Adobe Media Encoder, there is none of that because it exports in the background whilst you edit in Premiere Pro. So say if you've got another video to go on to that's another freelance job, or the freelance job that you're on has a main video and some cut downs for social media, then you can edit those social media cut downs whilst the video exports, or you can get on with your next freelance job. Or if you've just got a bit of a passion project that you want to edit in the background, you don't have to waste that 30 minutes waiting for a video to export. You can get on with it and it'll export whilst you're editing. It's game changing, do it. There's no reason why not to do it, really. Make sure you're creating presets for the animations that you do regularly. If you do like a quick zoom in to the face, make sure you're saving those presets because then you don't have to mess around with keyframes and doing it every time. You just drag and drop the preset onto your footage. It can go at the front, it can go at the back, it can go proportionately along the footage that you have. Whatever you want to do, you can set that in the preset, and then it's so much quicker and saves you so much time rather than having to mess around with all those keyframes, the values and everything every time you do it. We don't want to be doing the same thing over and over again, so make sure you're using presets to save you time. Create yourself a sound effects library. Now this isn't as scary as it sounds. I've just built one up over the time of editing videos. So as you're doing each project and you bring in these new sound effects for sound design, make sure that you're not having to go and find them on the internet every time. When you're using them, save them in your projects, so everything's like neat and lined up and everything, and you can find things when you go back to it. But then also make sure you're saving it in a media library with your sound effects, so that if you want that sound effects again, you don't have to go back to the video, you can go back to your sound effects library, and you can also find loads of different things without having to search for things online, and it could be bad quality stuff or not quite the same thing that you want. Whereas like in your media library, you know what you have, you know the quality is always going to be good because it was good enough quality to use in another video. It just makes the sound design process so much quicker, because if I need a horse neighing or something like that, I know that I have that in my media library. I can go to animals and then horse, and then it's under there. So it's all organized there straight away, rather than having to go through loads and loads and loads of YouTube videos, or whether you're on Epidemic Sound, Artlist, trying to find sound effects, listening to them all, and it takes so long to find one sound effect, which could be like a few seconds. Whereas if you've got it in your media library, you can just drop it in, quick, go, bish bash bosh, save you so much time. I've actually got a really funny story about me searching for sound effects. So basically I was up at about like 2 AM editing this video, and I needed like a knock on the door sound effect. And I downloaded it, dragged it into Premiere, and then minimized YouTube. And then I think I got up to get some water or something like that. I got some water, came back, and I started hearing this knocking sound. I was like, what is that? It's 2 AM, it's like pitch black outside. It's pretty dark in the room that I'm in. I've only got one light on. And I'm like, what's that sound? And I was like, probably nothing. I've heard it again. I'm like, I definitely heard that. That was not, my mind playing tricks on me here. My mind's racing. I'm like, what is going on? So I've got up to see if anyone, has woken up, or anyone's like, making a noise. And I'm like, no one's up. What is going on? And then I've gone back to my computer, put on my headphones, and the knocking sounds happened again. It's coming out of my headphones, and YouTube had been autoplay, playing all these knocking sounds back to back to back. And oh, it's so scary, but you know. So basically, if you get yourself a media library, you'll avoid all that pain, all the searching for sound effects. Do it, you'll save so much time. Clicking on a mouse is slow, right? It's not very intuitive. Even if you have one of these snazzy, amazing mouses that cost way too much money, it's still not as quick as clicking on the keyboard. This is why you need to know your keyboard shortcuts. I even customize all mine. So I've changed add, edit, or cut to, it used to be Control K. I've changed it to E, just so it's an easy button to press all the time. I've changed nest to H. I always want to nest a clip. I don't have to right click nest. I can just boom, H, and then we're there straight away. And it might seem like a real short thing, but those actions that you're doing over and over and over again, it's going to be so much quicker and save you so much time, because you're doing this so many times that even if you're only saving like, you know, half a second, if you're doing it like 100 times in an edit, you're going to save a lot of time at the end. When I'm learning them at the start, I like to write a little list just so that I know what I can use and what is useful shortcut, and then, you know, within a week you won't even need it anymore. So write yourself a list and then you'll learn them like nobody's business, trust me. And also, if you're worrying about getting used to like shortcuts that aren't the official like Adobe Premiere Pro shortcuts, it's really useful. You can save all your shortcuts, so if you ever have to go out on the road and edit, or edit a different setup, you can just upload your file that's all your keyboard shortcuts for Premiere Pro to Google Drive, and then you can access your keyboard shortcuts from any computer. It's amazing, straight into your new setup, and there's nothing to worry about. I've actually got a whole video about keyboard shortcuts and ones that you should know, so make sure you watch that to learn some more. And then there's also a video about how to do animated subtitles.